Right, so the lightsabers are a big one because they're so iconic right now that it's really hard to, we don't want to change the lightsaber. The lightsaber is the lightsaber, so we've got different directions we can go with the hilts, and we've already done that with the Old Republic, as you see. Some of the original hilts have the wooden handle with the engraved metals and things, and we were trying to take it in a slightly more handcrafted, fancy direction. Then we would kind of borrow from the Star Wars 4, 5, 6 a bit more. But we've been playing around with different ideas to take the lightsabers to another level, and yet still keep it in the pure lightsaber genre, and that's using certain particles and things near the hilts and bases to kind of make them a little bit more fancy and a little bit more akin to when you see Luke Skywalker hold up his lightsaber in the movie poster. You see the flare. It's still very iconic, but we haven't necessarily gone there yet. So we're kicking around ideas right now on how to push the lightsaber, yet not push it so far that it comes off as, you know, something other than you'd see in Star Wars. So we're taking this stuff, believe it or not, we have a lot of fun developing this game, but we take a lot of stuff very seriously because we know people are really into this IP. So we're taking our time, we're hopefully going to do it right, and you'll see how we update those things.
One of the things that really impressed me in the early days of the project, looking at the beautiful concept art from these guys, basically, was the thoughtfulness, as Arnie said. You know, thinking about the timeline of the rich history, prehistory of the Star Wars universe. Space travel's been around for about 20,000 years in this timeline, so you're going to have a lot of things that are kind of common and spread around. But this game is set 3,000 years before the movies, roughly, a little more. So you know, there's also a feeling of a little bit older style that, you know, it's a little bit different, familiar and yet different at the same time. So I think they've really nailed it.
Okay, we have a question over here. You can't see me. I'm over here with Eric from New York.
Hi, I have a question about guild banks and guild capital ships or bases. Are we going to get that in the future?
Absolutely. I think if you check online, there's this online blog on the community site where James Olin, the game director, talks a bit about that. So one of the main things we're going to be working on is expanding some of the guild features. And then, as you said, there's the elusive capital ships will be pretty cool. Also, guild banks are very important, as well as the usual guild leveling and that kind of stuff. Another thing for the more sort of core player, we're also talking about UI modifications and all that. Yeah, and Ray mentioned, of course, combat logs. Those are coming pretty soon. The combat logs is you can track all your status very close. So lots of stuff still going. I mean, we were just getting started with the game. Just getting it out is the first step, and then as we continue to develop it over time, we'll be listening to the fans, of course, and adding things, adding new dimensions, and adding things that people really want, and to make the game even more rewarding for them.
Thank you. Cool, all right. We have another question from Drake from New York.
Hi, I was wondering, I play a bounty hunter in the game right now, and I'm noticing that I don't have that many opportunities to tap that ass in the game. I've actually only been able to tap that ass once. I'd like more opportunities to do that. So would you be adding more options to do that?
I'm not sure who's going to answer that question. Which one is? I think the answer actually, believe it or not, is yes. I mean, in the sense that, and not just for you, but for a wide range of folks. I mean, it's one of the things that, it's funny in Bioware games, but that's something that, as I'll use the phrase romance. It's a little different. I'll use the phrase romance is the opportunity for romance is significant in our games, and that's actually something we're going to be adding more as we go on. Like, that's actually pretty important to us. So, yes.
You're romantic.
All right. Next question is from
all of us.
All right. Next question is from Joe from San Francisco.
Yeah, you personally, what's your favorite class, race, and play style?
What's my favorite race, class, and playstyle? Mine would be the bounty hunter. I've been playing them since early in beta, and I think they're just the most fun because all their different weapons and attacks, and you know, they're kind of they got 1,001 different things that they can pull out of their pocket. So that would be mine. Probably Buman.
Yeah, I think for me, I mean, it varies all the time. I guess the last one I made was a Sith Pureblood Marauder. That was a lot of fun. And so, like, it depends, you know, the mood, the game. I mean, we actually, when we were testing the game, we had to restart over and over and over again because we couldn't keep our characters. So we all remember like dozens of characters in the past. So that was the one that struck with me. I called him Sith Bieber because he had this awesome Bieber haircut and like big rings in his face, but that was different. But he was kind of serious.
That's awesome. So my favorites are probably some of the healers. This actually really surprised me, but I really love playing healers. I love playing, you know, the diverse range of abilities. So my last few characters have been like a Jedi consular, a sage, a Sith Inquisitor Sorcerer, and most recently, before the game launched, I was playing an agent as an operative. And each one, I was trying different skills. I kind of respec them a few times, but I put all the points in the healing trees, and I really enjoyed it. It was like you always felt like you had a great purpose, and you could do a lot of other cool stuff too, like CC, and a lot of the damaging abilities as well. And if you're a Sith or a Jedi, you have a lightsaber too, which is kind of neat. So, but frankly, all the classes I played have been fantastic.
All right, next question is Pedro from New York.
I would just say probably my favorite character of mine through beta was probably, I had a chubby Twi'lek Sith Inquisitor that was dot DPS type, but over the last couple of builds I started playing tanks, and I've kind of fallen in love with tank because it's just always great when you show up in a group and everyone's happy to see you, and it's like, okay, we can go now, the tank's here. So I've kind of gotten addicted to playing tanks, so now I got a trooper now, is what I'm playing. So
I thought you played a Sith auctioneer.
Oh, and the auction houses, basically, yes. So.
All right, next question, Pedro, New York.
I want to know what made you pursue gaming instead of medicine? Yeah.
Because we love video games, basically. We, the question was why do we pursue medicine rather than, why do we pursue gaming rather than medicine? And I personally like medicine a lot, but I love video games. It's just that simple. I love working with the people who make them. I love our fans. I love playing them. So that's why.
Thank you. Yay!
Hey, are there any more questions? Anyone?
Questions over here.
All right, I'll be over there a second. Who was it?
Oh God.
All right, what's your name?
Hi, Bree. Hi, pleasure to meet you, and thank you for coming. Okay, a side question. You're bi? Because you have both Empire and Republic.
Yes. Well, no, that's the standard logo. Actually, as you recall, the logo on the desktop is the combined logo. So that's the thing that we all relate to, and you can play either side in the game, obviously on the same account. So that's
Just like Revan.
just like Revan, apparently. There we go. That's what he said. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Okay. Wanted to ask about costumes and the designs and how that works and what you plan on be doing if you're going to have like tier armors or something like that. I know that's a World of Warcraft. I apologize for using the analogy.
Yeah, I'll take this. I mean, it is like, which one are you saying before? I think it was Greg. I mean, we're doing a lot of stuff for after we launch, right? Is we're going to continue to support the game, and we're continuing to make new gear for players and that sort of thing. So yeah, is we have a plan where we're going to continue to roll out new stuff over time. So over a very regular cadence, actually, a very aggressive cadence for those of us in the art department. Okay.
All right, next
I will not argue.
Next question, Damien from New Jersey.
Guys, you've put into a place a great placeholder called the legacy system, which has a lot of potential to work with. Could you possibly share some of the ideas, not so much what will be implemented, but ideas that you have that may or may not come into the legacy system?
Yeah, we can touch really quickly on the legacy system. Obviously, can't go into a lot of detail on it, but just at a high level. I mean, obviously, something happens. When you get your legacy, you name your character. I think the philosophy, that we have for the legacy system at a high level is to create that sort of Star Wars family. Like if you think of the episodes 1 through 6, it's actually essentially the legacy of the Skywalkers. It goes through that entire legacy, and there's all kinds of people in different positions, different roles, and that's actually one of the main things we look at as the legacy over time, is how we actually encourage players to, there's that traditional concept of alts, but is to take that to a whole new level of that's actually a big part of the game, is actually having different characters, and there may be possibilities of things passing between them. Who knows what's going to happen if you have a sense progeny. What could occur? But that's actually, ultimately our vision for the legacy system. Obviously, things we have to work out, but that's another one of those systems that we're being very aggressive with and want to get that, into practice very soon.
All right, Justin from New York.
Hey guys, so my first question about Tor is it's pretty much about servers. I know my server right now, Jungma, is already has about like a 40 minute queue time, and Stephen Reed tweeted that server pop is going to be increased. I was wondering if that's going to be a gradual thing, or is it going to be like a one-time thing? Server pop going to be increased, and then that's going to be it.
So yeah, I think one thing we've been doing actually is managing the server populations very aggressively, and you know the queues themselves are something that obviously you'd rather not have, but you in a sense need them to ensure that you're getting people distributed evenly across the whole system. Otherwise, people will kind of pile up on one server. The other thing we do is that we're always watching. We know basically what the upper limit is of what you can have on a server, and we're kind of dialing that up over time and making sure that. You know, it's pretty subtle. Like you'll see something tonight, for example, when when the clocks flip over and you guys get back on it at 12:05, let's say, there'll be a whole bunch more servers, like lots more. And then also, what's going to be happening as well at that time is, we're going to be gradually increasing those server loads. We didn't want to like go right to 11, so to speak, right when we started. We want to kind of build that up over time. So. You're going to see some changes in the next day or so how that's all working. There's probably still going to be queues. I mean, the reality, this is the harsh reality, is that there's a lot of people that want to play this. There's like lots of people playing right now. Everyone, not just everyone here, but everyone all over the world. And over time, that's going to totally ease off. We're also going to be able to add more people onto the servers, and people play a little differently after the first week. So all these things will kind of even that out. Hard to say how long it's going to last for, but it's something we take super seriously, and we're continually managing it. And we literally have folks watching it 24/7 to make sure we're trying to get as many people in all the time. And it's sort of a short-term thing to make sure long-term, a year from now when you're still playing, your server never feels empty. That's the most important thing we're trying to protect against, is that you don't have a situation where people play a little less and all of a sudden half the servers in the game feel like there's ghost towns. So that's actually the fundamental thing. Trust us, we're working on it. We trust we really appreciate your patience in it. I mean, obviously folks don't want to line up for it, but it's worth it when you get in, but still. The other thing we found, just another side thing, is people playing really long times. Like their actual sessions are super long, and so that's actually one of the other things that's happening. It's like sort of the passion for the game is so high that the queues don't turn over very fast because people are playing it so long. So, yeah, you're one of, there's a lot of those folks.
All right, next question.
Hi, I just wanted to touch upon expansion. The first Knights of the Old Republic had 5 worlds and a few classes. I'd just like to talk about how large the game has grown in its current incarnation, and also about are there any plans right now, or maybe even in the future, to bring the game to other PC platforms, i.e. Steam, Mac, etc.?
So to rephrase the first part of the question, is obviously you said that there's a lot more locations and a lot bigger than KOTOR. So if you want to talk about how big it is, that's probably.
Sure. I mean, 19 planets, basically about 60 novels worth of content, kind of seamlessly woven into the experience. So it's it's like the idea we're trying to convey is story that gives you a purpose, a sense of heroic identity, and gives you a reason to continue playing. And so just woven into the experience. The exploration and the combat and then the quests and the progression are just kind of they feel that much more emotionally engaging and powerful. We have 260,000 lines of dialogue in all languages: French, German, and English. I think we estimated this game is bigger than all prior Bioware games combined in terms of amount of content we put in there. And then, obviously that's across all the 8 classes. They all have their own unique story arc, and there's some shared world quests obviously too. There's PvP, there's operations, there's flashpoints, there's heroics, there's space combat, on and on. There's crafting, as Jeff can attest, a wicked auction house. So it's there's a ton of things to do in this game. I think anyone who enjoys MMOs, anyone who enjoys a Star Wars experience, anyone who enjoys Bioware games in the past, they're going to find a ton of fun things they can experience in this game. So I think it's got something for everybody.
What's the second part again?
Would it be moving on to other pieces?
Oh yeah, so the other question is, is it going to be on other platforms sometimes? And I think that's something we're definitely explore. I mean, our initial focus is we want to figure, just get this basic first launch, successful, roll it out, make sure it's really solid, and then we'll look at other places that we can actually get the game. So that's something that over time is something we're explore pretty aggressively. But it's got to be service comes first for us, and once we have service solidified and happy, then we move on to other things.
Okay, this right here is our final question, and then we're going to go back to the signing. All right, so go ahead.
Hi, my name is Ari. I'd like to thank you guys for your hard work. I have a 2-part question. One is a follow-up from the weapon. I read Drew Karpyshyn's book, Darth Bane, and a character in the first book who was on Korriban used a lightsaber whip. Is that a possibility in the game, or is that just...
Actually, I think that'd be something we'd ask our friends at LucasArts behind us here. Sorry. No, he asked about lightsaber whips, and we're just